Alright, yeah, and welcome back to the third and final episode with our Aether Flicker deck. Without further ado, let's get into the game, shall we? See you there. Alright, we are in. And we have two lands. We're on the play. If we get another land, we can play a Rogue Refiner, and then we'll have Displace as well. We're missing our white source, so we can't use Declaration in Stone. But I think as long as we hit our land drop in the next two turns, we should be fine with this one. So we'll lead off with an island, scare our opponent with blue mana, as is tradition. Okay, and what is our opponent playing? White. Okay. I'm not up on the meta at the moment, so I could only really predict old decks. Oh my god, there's our white source. Wonderful. Alright, let's just play Forest though, and pass the turn. Showing white just shows removal, and we want our opponent to throw nice things in our way if he wants to play them. Like a Thalia's Lieutenant, so is this white weenie then? Mono white. It's fair enough. He's going to have to play another human in order to get past my Rogue Refiner. And even then I might chomp. Ooh, Prairie Stream. Nice. We'll play Prairie Stream, play a Rogue Refiner, get 2 energy, and draw a card. With a pretty substantial 3-2 on the board. And a Reclamation Sage. That's going to be good for their auras, if they have any. Like their Angelic Destiny, is it called? The 4-mana mythic one. As a Knight of the White Orchid, so he's going to be able to ramp. If he has less planes than us, he gets to go grab one. Less lands than us, should I say. And pumps up his Lieutenant. Let's see if he swings in. Somehow I doubt it. And we won't block anyway. Yeah. Okay. We don't want to block because we can displace later down the line, which would be nice. Let's go with Prairie Stream, and I don't think we want to put Reclamation Sage down. Is there any real reason for me to do that? I don't think so. I'd rather hold up Displace if for some reason I want to keep the Rogue Refiner safe, or I might want to draw a card. Two options that are there for me. And we'll hold on to Declaration in Stone because there's a good chance we can get a little bit more value out of it. And there's no pressure at the moment. We're going to be taking 2 this turn from the Knight since it does have First Strike. Our opponent has nothing to worry about. Hope against Hope. Now we've got reason to play our Reclamation Sage. So that's good. And swing in with both, buddy. You got this. The other one's got First Strike. There you go. Alright. So that's 6 damage. We're going to take it. Because what I can do is Reclamation Sage away his enchantment, and then if he plays another enchantment, we can displace both the Refiner and the Sage to get rid of his second aura if he has one. Ooh, Nissa. Huh. This is nice. I don't want to leave her open to any kind of removal, though. There's not a great deal in white, other than sacking, attacking, and blocking creatures, stuff like that, but there is, obviously, Declaration in Stone and that kind of thing. So that is something to consider. We're going to go out with the Plains, and I think we just want a Reclamation Sage here. It's going to get rid of the First Strike on the Lieutenant and discourage him from attacking in a little bit. And once the Sage is down, we can actually flicker and get rid of any of his auras that he might play in the future, which would be nice. And we'll just pass the turn. Yeah, again. Ah, bugger. I forgot to tap for 3 there. That might come back to bite us. Accidentally clicked past my attack phase. Maybe that means that our opponent thinks we're going to block, because now this Lieutenant comes down. The Lieutenant becomes a 3-3, and therefore he can attack in for 5 here. If he wants to. And he doesn't. Okay. This is really good. Our opponent's not being as aggressive as they maybe should be. I know that they could just wait until it's out of our range, but by that point we're going to Declaration and Stone it, so we're going to get all the value we want out of it. Long Road Home, we can also do that to it. So, I could Nissa, grab a land, and hold up Displace here, and I think that's what we want to do. Because then I can double block and flicker Nissa and the Refiner, thin out a deck of another land, and draw a card and get some energy as well. Energy, not so much important, but, you know. Yeah. And then next turn we could probably call for Unity, and Nissa will probably flip since we will have grabbed the other forest. Making 7 lands, meaning that she's left the battlefield, and therefore trigger the call for unity, getting out of the range of our opponent's creatures, which is nice. No attacks here, because there is no decent attack, unfortunately. But yeah, if our opponent plays a Aura, then I might go Reclamation Sage Nissa, and something like that. Ooh, he's running black. Okay. He must be running the Vampire that gets lifelink if you've got an enchantment in play, I think. That one's pretty decent. Okay. So he's got some nice big creatures now. Swinging in with all of them. We want to block this guy here because we don't want it to get renowned. And we want to block this because we can just stop some damage getting through. So block, displace, get them out of combat, draw a card, thin our deck, get some energy. Sweet. And Evolving Wilds. That's another trigger for our call for unity. Alright, we're almost in a position as well where Cloud Blazer is going to be really nice. So. Ooh, Baral's Expertise. That can slow you down. Summit Rotten. We don't really have a 4 or less mana cost card we want to cast, to be perfectly honest. I mean, we could bounce all 3 of his creatures and Declaration in Stone the other one with the free cast. It's a possibility, but I think what we want to do here is just call for unity, which is going to pump up all of our creatures. And playing the forest means that we can actually Declaration in Stone something, and we might want to do that. Yeah. And we might as well minus Nissa as well. Get the 4/4, which is going to be a 5/5, which will completely put him off attacking. So, play our forest. Permanent has left the battlefield. Permanent has entered the battlefield. So if I minus here, we've got 3 creatures. A Declaration in Stone to make sure that there's only 2 creatures. Rogue Refiner can block the Lieutenant. Reclamation Sage can trade off with the Free Blade, and then we've got a 5/5 to block the 2/2 as well. Okay. And then Declaration in Stone, your Lieutenant. Gives him a clue, but it stops him from having some really nasty creatures that are going to get way out of hand. So every turn from this point forward, our creatures are going to get a little bit bigger, because we have Flicker and we have Evolving Wilds as well to have them leave the battlefield. And we're going to have Cloud Blazer as well, so that we can gain life, draw some cards, hopefully some more Flicker, to continue the train of counters on the call for unity. So he's in a little bit of trouble here by the looks of it. He does have 3 cards in hand and a clue to sack, so we'll see. And every single creature that dies as well on the Shadows of the Past scries him something as well, so he does have ways to find what he needs. We can even Reclamation Sage and get rid of that though later down the line. For now though, we don't have any Flicker. Tragic Arrogance. Does that really help? We keep our Call for Unity, our Nissa, and our Reclamation Sage probably. He gets to scry 4 and we chump there. But then we play a Cloud Blazer and we've got a blocker for it again. I don't think that really helped him as much as he'd hoped. But I suppose it does clear our board a little bit and it allows him to dig for answers. So he should attack Nissa here. Otherwise he's going to lose his Shadows of the Past. Yeah, okay. We don't want to lose Nissa because we don't have a way of grabbing her back just yet. And she's got an insane amount of value that we really want to make good use of. And a Cloud Blazer down the line as well, just to properly block. Alright. Passing the turn. Oh, a Reflector Mage. That is wonderful. Alright, so first of all, let's get as much information as possible. We get a Nissa, trigger and a ramp, which is nice. So I think what we want to do here is Cloud Blazer. Wish I'd have left a green mana open there, actually, just in case. Ended up not mattering, but, you know. And then it's going to be Evolving Wild, so we can trigger the Call for Unity. And then probably Reflector Mage as well, just to get this Lieutenant off the board. We may or may not need to do that, but I think having an extra blocker on the ground means that he can't get rid of our Cloud Blazer and kill our Nissa. I think it's just a lot safer that way. Yeah, let's do it. Extra pressure. It's time for us to tilt and destroy our opponent. Triggers. Everything gets +2/+2. So I like where we're at now. Spiral's expertise has gotten a little bit worse now, though. That's the only problem. Only when he starts overcommitting to the board is it going to be good again. Because we can't bounce enchantments, it's only artifacts and creatures. Yeah, I thought he had a Blood Curse Knight in his deck. So it's 4/3 with lifelink as long as you control an enchantment. And we have a Reflector Mage. Alright. Yet again, let's plus Nissa. Find out what's on top of our deck. It's a Green Warden. Oh, that's going to be really nice. Green Warden for Displace means that we can Cloud Blazer and do that every single turn, which Call for Unity is just going to go absolutely mental over. So, Green Warden. Oh, we could get... Nah, we'll get Displace. I was thinking maybe just Long Road homing the Green Warden. But I'd rather Displace and just start that chain over. So, we want to leave open our Flicker. So, get in for 4. And then I think we probably just want to displace Reflector Mage and Green Warden, keeping his creatures off the board constantly. We get our displace back as well, so it's not too bad. Does leave us open to removal, though, if he has any. So maybe we don't really want the extra card and Call for Unity. Maybe that's just a bit too much. Yeah, we'll wait until we untap, I think. Our board is decent enough, and we can always displace on his turn. We don't get the counter on Call for Unity, but we keep our Green Warden safe, and the rest of our creatures as well. And since he's playing White Weenie, kind of White Weenie, Orzhov Weenie, he's essentially lost just on the fact that he's going to displace there. It doesn't matter. We can still displace it away. And a Consul's Lieutenant. Okay. So he's going in for the attack. We'll let him swing in, and then we'll displace it away with our Reflector Mage. Here he goes. And displace Green Warden and Reflector Mage. Gonna bounce his Knight. Get back the displace so we can do it next turn. Yep. Gets rid of his enchantment. And he can't cast that next turn. Awesome. Ooh, an Aether Hub. Alright, let's plus Nissa. Let's find out what's on top. It is a Tamiyo. Alright, it's over now. Game, set, and match. Alright, choose 2 creatures. That one and that one, I guess. If those 2 deal combat damage at all, I draw a card. So I probably want to do that now. Yeah, might as well. Swing in with everything. We have displace to bounce his creature back, so we don't need to leave a creature in order to protect our planeswalkers. We also have Reflector Mage in hand and the displace open after we cast it as well. So it's absolutely well and truly over for our opponent. As long as they choose to get through this block phase. There you go. Down to 1. He's dead next turn. And a Rogue Refiner. Nice. We're going to go Aether Hub. Bounce his creature away. Let's let him know it's over. And then pass the turn. We're safe from a board wipe because we can long road home the Green Warden back to safety. And then we just flick a Green Warden to go grab any creature that he destroys. And that's game. Alright. I can flicker here, but I'm just not gonna. I think it's a bit obnoxious to be doing that again. But really, we could draw 2 and gain 2. Or even bounce one of his creatures back to his hand. But we honestly don't need to. So I'm not gonna. Cloud Blazer in for 4. And that's gonna be game. That went well. Sweet. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next game. Okay, we are back, and on the draw we have Glacial Fortress, which is a third of the mana for Bounding Krasis. We have an Evolving Wilds to get green mana. Ooh, yeah, I think we can take this. We are on the draw as well, so hopefully we hit another land. But this hand doesn't particularly do too much. Now it does. Wonderful. Alright, so we can Evolving Wilds and get an island here, and then these two will come into play untapped. So that is what we're going to do. Evolving Wilds. Get an island. And now we have untapped mana for pretty much the rest of the game. So we're on curve to hit our Krasis and our Reclamation Sages and our Reflector Mage as well. Whatever our opponent does, we should hopefully have an answer for it. Cracks his Evolving Wilds. So he's in green, black, and white. Okay. Ooh, he's playing with Revolt cards by the looks of it. Naram Renegade, 1 mana, Death Touch, enters with a 1/1 counter on it if a permanent left the battlefield this turn, and Evolving Wilds left the battlefield. So I'm just going to go Hinterland Harbour, pass the turn. Has Death Touch, which is very annoying, but I'll get over it. I'm sure. Oath of Nissa. Oh, this isn't Super Friends, is it? Just using this as a decent blocker because it's got Death Touch. Don't let it be so. Woodland Cemetery. Okay. I suppose you could use the Oaths and Legend Rule them to trigger Revolt. That'd be an interesting way to use it. Though relying on that wouldn't be so good because you can only have 2 of them in your deck and therefore it's not going to happen very often, but, you know. So we're going to go Glacial Fortress and... do we pass the turn here? Hold up Bounding Krasis? Or do we Reflector Mage away his Oath of Nissa? How much do I think he's going to be using this? Well, let's think about what Planeswalkers he can cast. He can already cast Nissa. Liliana is double black, so he can't cast that without the Oath. Anything else in colour? You can have Creature Nissa, Creature Liliana. There are tons of Planeswalkers he could be casting right now, so... I think I'm just going to pass. Flash in a Krasis at the end step, I think. I'm not sure. I'm still a bit confused on what he's doing, so... without complete information, it's kind of difficult to know what to do. So really what I'm doing is just holding up Bounding Krasis so that I can tap down his next blocker and get him for 3 damage, if I choose to do so. So we're taking 2. And there's his Renegade Railer. So he's full on Revolt by the looks of it. So I'm going to tap that down. Tap it down. we go. Gets to grab a permanent card with 2 or less. So I believe he's grabbing an Evolving Wilds. He is. Which is cool. But we're getting him for 3. He gets to hit us for 5 though, really. Unless I bounce one of his things. Which doesn't particularly help us. I think I want to hold on to this Evolving Wilds. Purely because if we draw a land, then Evolving Wilds is really good for aid from the Cowl and the Call for Unity. But if we don't hit a land, then we don't hit aid on time. Or Avacyn or anything like that. So it's a bit of a tricky one. I think we just have more options if I Evolving Wilds here. So that's probably what I'm going to do. We have double white, we have double blue. We're going to have double green. So it doesn't particularly matter what we go for. I guess we'll go for double white though. For an extra white, should I say. And do I Reflector Mage things away? I'm not Reflector Maging this away because he'll just ramp into a little bit more lands. Or at least get more lands back from his deck and thin out. The only other option is to Reflector Mage a 1-mana creature and meta that. So I guess I Reflector Mage, Reclamation Sage away his Oath of Nissa. Yeah, why not? Let's get something done at least. It's a decent blocker for this guy here as well, which means I can get him with this Krasis and be fairly confident that he won't attack him with it. So hopefully we're only taking 2 this turn. So he's going to crack his Evolving Wilds, by the looks of it. Or he's thinking about it. He probably has some sort of Revolt card to this extent where he has to do that on his turn. Would be my guess, which is why he was pausing for so long. So he probably has an aid from the Cowl or a Call for Unity. Although now he can't cast it. Oh, no, he can't. He can absolutely cast it. Vengeful Rebel to kill our Reclamation Sage. And a Fatal Push to kill our Krasis. Well, that is that's a little bit of a perfect answer kind of situation for us. Most of our bounce is completely useless as well, because he kind of wants half of this back in his hand. So I think we just hold up Avacyn here. We can't trigger Aid or Call for Unity until next turn, so we might as well cast them next turn if the opportunity presents itself. I don't like Reflector Mage because Reflector Mage just bounces things that can either kill it, ramp him, or be very pointless to do so. We could Rogue Refiner and draw some cards, but I'd rather just hold up Avacyn, kill one of his things as it comes in. Potentially, anyway. You might have answers for it. Fatal Push is 3 or less, isn't it? Oh no, it's 4 or less. It doesn't really matter, but out of curiosity. So he's getting in for his attacks here. So he might have Murder or other hard cast removal here in response to the thing. Yep, Anguished Unmaking. Ugh. This is the kind of Revolt deck that I was planning on making, actually. So, case in point. Right, we are dead. We are not quite dead. Although, we are so essentially dead that it almost doesn't matter what I do here. We can Tamiyo minus to tap down 2 creatures. Tamiyo dies to the one that I don't tap. And then we're just dead. Well, actually, no. He just animates the land, and we've lost. Yep. Okay. Okay. That's the thing. Well, we might as well try tap him down, see if he notices. If he sees the line, then we're dead. But if he doesn't, we're good to go. I say we're good to go. We're not really. Okay, cracks his Evolving Wilds. He's been getting really lucky on those. 3 out of 4 of them to trigger his Revolt. Renegade map to grab a land. So he's dead if he animates his Hissing Quagmire, and then he goes. Yeah, you got it. You got it, buddy. We were just on the back foot the entire game there, I think. It's not a very good matchup for us. I could have bounced his stuff several times over, but it really would have just made his deck work even better. So... well, you can't win them all, and there's always bad matchups. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. So if you did enjoy the content, then be sure to leave a like. It helps me out a great deal. Lets me know you're enjoying the series. There should hopefully be another deck coming up in the next day or two. It's going to be Revolt, as was the second place, or joint first place anyway, winner from the votes that you decided on. So we're going heavy into Revolt cards this time around. I know I could have used more Revolt cards in this Flicker deck, but I didn't really want to have 2 decks that looked identical since they were both going to win anyway. So yeah, the deck that you're going to see coming up in the next few days is going to look a lot like this, to be honest. It's this kind of thing. So expect that in the very close future. Be sure to subscribe for that if you want to watch the videos as and when they arrive. And if you want to be notified about when they arrive, then be sure to hit the little bell icon right next to the subscription button to be notified when I release new videos. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the deck, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.